The soft morning light filtered through the curtains of Catherine's modest home, where the rhythm of life had long been shaped by her devotion to her son Gabriel. Catherine, now 64, bore the marks of a lifetime of challenges on her simple, weathered face. Her wrinkles told stories of struggle, resilience, and above all, an unwavering love for Gabriel. At 35, Gabriel had lived more than half his life in a wheelchair, paralyzed since the age of 12 when a tragic car accident had forever altered their world. Each day in their small home followed a familiar pattern. Catherine rose before dawn to prepare Gabriel's breakfast with quiet precision, as if the routine itself were sacred. The smell of fresh coffee filled the house as she carefully arranged slices of bread, cheese, and fruit on the table. It was the same meal she had prepared for years, with the same care she had always given. "Good morning, son," she greeted warmly as she entered Gabriel's room, her smile as constant as the sunrise. Together, they worked through the delicate process of helping him out of bed, a task that, despite its difficulty, never seemed to wear on her. No matter how slow or arduous it was, Catherine's patience remained steadfast. Their conversations over breakfast were always simple, but they were steeped in affection. They talked about their dreams, their plans for the day, and most of all, the soap operas they both adored. For Gabriel, these shows were more than just entertainment. They were an escape, a way to immerse himself in other people's stories, even if only for a few fleeting hours. The accident that had reshaped their lives occurred on a rainy afternoon 23 years ago. Catherine's husband, Henry, had been behind the wheel. The road was slick, and in a brief moment of distraction, their car had spun out of control and rolled. Henry, who wasn't wearing a seatbelt, was thrown from the car and died instantly. Gabriel, strapped in, survived the crash, but sustained a spinal injury that left him paralyzed from the waist down. The loss of Henry and the shattering of Gabriel's future had drawn Catherine and her son even closer. From that day forward, Catherine dedicated herself entirely to Gabriel's care, determined to provide him with as much of a normal life as possible despite the limitations they faced. Their home became a quiet sanctuary, a place where Catherine's love and care were woven into every corner, every gesture, every moment. But lately, she had started to notice subtle changes in Gabriel. He, who had always been remarkably cheerful despite his condition, seemed to have grown distant at times, as though lost in his own thoughts. At first, Catherine had brushed it off, thinking it was nothing more than her imagination. But soon, her concern deepened. One evening, as they watched their usual soap opera together, Catherine's attention was drawn to something strange. Gabriel lay on the couch, bundled up in a blanket against the chill. She saw the blanket stir slightly, near his feet. It was as though he was trying to move his toes. Catherine blinked, unsure of what she had seen. Perhaps it was just an involuntary twitch, she told herself. But the same movement occurred again on other nights. Gabriel seemed increasingly restless, as though he was hiding something. He sometimes looked scared, though he tried to mask it with a smile. Catherine's worry grew, her mind unable to shake the image of those small, almost imperceptible movements. The following days were filled with doubt. She took Gabriel to his regular medical checkups, where the doctors assured her that everything was as it should be. Nothing had changed in Gabriel's condition. But Catherine could not ignore what she had seen. Could it be possible, she wondered, that Gabriel was beginning to regain some sensation in his legs? She tried to temper her hope, not wanting to delude herself, but the idea gnawed at her. One morning, after preparing Gabriel's usual breakfast, Catherine made a decision. She couldn't continue with the uncertainty. She had to know what was happening with her son. Not out of distrust, but out of a profound need to understand. If Gabriel was hiding something, if he was experiencing something new, she needed to be there for him, to help him through it. As she helped him out of bed and settled him at the table that day, she watched his every movement with quiet intensity. Gabriel seemed to sense her scrutiny, shifting slightly in his seat, but he said nothing. Their morning routine played out as always, but Catherine's mind was elsewhere, consumed by the mystery of what might be unfolding. That afternoon, Catherine came up with a plan, one that made her feel uneasy, but also seemed necessary. She decided to install hidden cameras throughout the house. It pained her to resort to such measures, but she needed to see if what she feared, or hoped, was true. She wanted to know, not to invade his privacy, but out of love, out of the desperate desire to protect and support him. Later that day, when she took Gabriel to his usual physiotherapy appointment, she told him she had to stop by the market and would return shortly. Gabriel, trusting as ever, nodded, unaware of the inner turmoil his mother was facing. As Catherine drove away, her heart was heavy with guilt, but also with the hope that maybe, just maybe, she was about to uncover a new chapter in their lives. With a heavy heart, Catherine drove to the security and surveillance agency, her mind filled with worry. Upon arriving, she was greeted by Peter, the attendant, who quickly sensed the urgency of her request. Catherine explained her need for hidden cameras in her home, eager to uncover what was happening with her son, Gabriel. Peter assured her he could install the cameras immediately, and in less than an hour, the job was done. Cameras were discreetly placed in Gabriel's bedroom, the living room, and the kitchen. With a mix of guilt and determination, Catherine made a quick stop at the market before returning to the clinic, where Gabriel was finishing his physiotherapy. He suspected nothing as they went home together, their routine unchanged. That night, as they watched their usual soap opera, Catherine was more attentive than ever. Again, she noticed the slight movement of the blanket around Gabriel's feet. Her mind raced with questions, but she remained silent, not wanting to alarm him. Gabriel continued his routine as usual, going to bed once the episode ended. The next morning, after preparing breakfast, Catherine left Gabriel resting in bed and went out again, this time under the pretense of buying eggs. As she walked, she nervously checked the camera footage on her phone. What she saw left her both shocked and emotional. Gabriel, with visible effort, had sat up in bed and tried to stand. Catherine was overwhelmed by a flood of emotions, shock, hope, and confusion. Could Gabriel have been hiding his condition all this time? And if he was improving, why hadn't he told her? With these thoughts swirling in her mind, Catherine returned home, determined to learn more. Gabriel lay in bed as if nothing had happened, and the day passed uneventfully. However, Catherine was restless, waiting for the evening when they would sit together again for the soap opera. As night fell and they settled on the couch, Catherine's suspicions grew too strong to contain. She saw the movements under the blanket again and decided to confront him. "Gabriel," she asked calmly, though her heart raced, "are you able to move your toes?" Gabriel's face drained of color, and panic washed over him. He struggled to find words, but finally confessed with a deep sigh, "Yes, Mom. Since I started physiotherapy with Sophia, I've noticed some improvements. But I was afraid to tell you, afraid you'd be upset with me." Catherine felt a surge of emotions, her heart pounding as tears welled up in her eyes. "Upset with you? My son, this is the best news I could ever hear." Tears streamed down her face as she embraced him. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I didn't want to give you false hope," Gabriel said, his own eyes filling with tears. "I'm afraid this might be temporary, that I won't really be able to walk again. I didn't want to disappoint you." Catherine held him tightly, filled with both relief and hope. "You could never disappoint me. We'll face this together, one step at a time." The next day, Catherine scheduled an appointment with Dr. Noah, Gabriel's longtime physician. During the consultation, Gabriel explained the improvements he had noticed since beginning his sessions with Dr. Sophia. Dr. Noah listened intently, examining Gabriel with care. After a thorough assessment, he smiled at both mother and son. "These are significant improvements," he said. "For someone who has been paralyzed for so long, this is nothing short of miraculous. But we must proceed with caution. Physiotherapy will need to continue, and we'll monitor the progress closely. This is not something that happens overnight. Despite the doctor's caution, hope had already begun to bloom in Catherine's heart. Catherine felt a surge of hope as Dr. No confirmed that there was indeed a chance Gabriel could walk again, though it would require a long, difficult road filled with intense physiotherapy and unwavering support. As they left the consultation, both mother and son were buoyed by the possibility, however slim, and determined to face the challenges ahead together. Gabriel, grateful for his mother's constant support, threw himself into his physiotherapy with renewed determination, guided by the patient and encouraging Dr. Sophia. Week by week, Gabriel's grueling sessions gradually began to yield small but significant improvements. First, the controlled movement of his toes, then the strengthening of his leg muscles. These small victories were celebrated cautiously, but with growing hope. Then, on a bright morning, something miraculous happened during a session. With Sophia's steady hand and a support bar for balance, Gabriel stood up from his chair and took his first small step. Overcome with emotion, he realized he was achieving the impossible. Catherine, watching anxiously, wept tears of joy as her son took those first steps after so many years of paralysis. Gabriel's progress became the talk of the clinic, inspiring staff and patients alike. His sessions with Sophia grew into a central part of his life, filled with physical exertion and motivational conversations that spurred him on. Sophia's dedication to Gabriel's recovery was unwavering, and their relationship blossomed into a deep partnership built on trust and friendship. Catherine, ever by her son's side, created a supportive home environment where each step forward was celebrated. As Gabriel's steps grew more confident, so did his hope. And with Sophia's expertise and Catherine's unconditional love, he continued to push his limits, facing every challenge with resilience and strength. Gabriel's recovery journey evolved in unexpected ways as his relationship with Sophia deepened. What started as professional dedication soon transformed into a personal bond, sparked by Gabriel's growing feelings for Sophia. After weeks of intense physiotherapy, where Sophia's encouragement and expertise played a vital role in Gabriel's steady progress, he could no longer contain his emotions. One sunny afternoon, he confessed to Sophia that her presence had not only helped him regain his physical strength, but had also stirred something deeper in his heart. He had fallen in love with her. Sophia, surprised but touched, admitted she felt the same way. Yet both understood the challenges their newfound feelings could present. They decided to keep their relationship secret, not wanting to jeopardize their professional work or complicate the progress Gabriel was making. This unspoken love fueled their sessions with discreet smiles and shared glances, adding a layer of intimacy to their growing connection. Outside the clinic, Sophia began visiting Gabriel at home under the guise of medical follow-ups, spending quiet moments together that strengthened their bond. Catherine noticed the changes in her son, his happiness, newfound energy, and increasing stability on his feet, but did not yet suspect the romantic element behind it. Gabriel, for his part, was more motivated than ever, finding in Sophia not just a therapist, but a partner who gave him both emotional and physical strength. His steps became steadier, and every small victory felt monumental with Sophia by his side, pushing him to new limits while their relationship blossomed in secrecy. Sophia, too, found herself deeply invested, not just in Gabriel's recovery, but in the feelings that had grown between them. She admired his courage, and he saw her as the light in his long journey toward healing. As their love grew stronger with each passing day, Gabriel knew the time had come to share the truth with his mother. He could no longer hide something so important from Catherine, who had been his unwavering pillar of support for so many years. Gabriel understood that revealing his feelings for Sophia would be a significant step, but he hoped that his mother would embrace the happiness and hope Sophia had brought into his life, just as she had always embraced every part of his difficult journey. Gabriel's journey had reached a pivotal moment, and he knew that it was time to bring the two most important women in his life closer together. After dinner one quiet evening, Gabriel and his mother, Catherine, sat in the living room watching their usual soap opera. Gabriel felt his heart race. He knew the time had come to share the truth. As the commercial break began, he turned to Catherine, who had always been his rock, and with a nervous tremor in his voice, he said, "Mom, I need to tell you something important." Catherine, sensing the seriousness of his tone, gave him her full attention, her face filled with concern. Gabriel took a deep breath before continuing. "I've fallen in love with Sophia, and I want to ask for your blessing to date her." For a moment, silence hung in the air, and Gabriel's heart pounded as he anxiously awaited his mother's reaction. Finally, Catherine's eyes welled with tears, not of sadness, but of overwhelming joy. "Oh, Gabriel," she said, her voice quivering with emotion, "this is wonderful. I've always wanted to see you find someone special, and Sophia is such an incredible person. I couldn't be happier for you." Gabriel exhaled, feeling a wave of relief wash over him. He had feared his mother might feel protective or hesitant, but instead, she embraced his happiness wholeheartedly. "Thank you, Mom," he said softly. "It means everything to me that you support this." With his mother's blessing secured, Gabriel's next step was to make his feelings known to Sophia in a more formal way. The following day, he invited her to dinner at his house. While Sophia had visited many times before, this invitation felt different. Gabriel wanted to make the evening special. Sophia gladly accepted, looking forward to a pleasant evening with both Gabriel and Catherine. The dinner was warm and filled with laughter as Catherine shared stories from Gabriel's childhood, and the three of them enjoyed a relaxed, joyful atmosphere. But as the evening went on, Gabriel grew increasingly nervous, knowing what he had planned. After dinner, as they moved to the living room, Gabriel knew the moment had come. As Catherine recounted a particularly funny story, Gabriel caught Sophia's eye, his heart pounding once again. Interrupting the conversation, he spoke in a serious, heartfelt tone. "Sophia," he began, "I have something important to ask you." Both Catherine and Sophia turned their attention to him, curious. Gabriel's voice trembled slightly as he continued. "You brought light into my life in a way I never thought possible. You've given me hope, strength, and so much more. I want to be with you, not just as a patient or a friend, but as your partner. Will you be my girlfriend?" Sophia's eyes widened with surprise, but then softened as her emotions took over. Tears filled her eyes as she smiled, clearly moved by his words. "Yes, Gabriel," she replied, her voice filled with emotion. "I also want to be with you." The moment was pure and heartfelt, and Catherine, who had been watching from the side, felt her heart swell with joy for her son. She, too, was moved to tears, realizing how much Gabriel's life had changed for the better. "This is wonderful," Catherine said, her voice shaky with happiness. "Sophia, you are so welcome in our family. I can't think of anyone better for Gabriel than you." With that, the relationship between Gabriel and Sophia blossomed, no longer hidden or cautious. They could finally express their feelings openly, without fear of judgment or misunderstanding. Catherine, who had always hoped her son would find love, fully embraced Sophia, and their bond as a family deepened. Over the coming months, Gabriel's recovery continued to progress with unwavering determination. Under Sophia's expert guidance and Catherine's constant encouragement, he worked hard in his physiotherapy sessions, pushing his physical limits. Each day, Gabriel's steps grew more confident and steady. With Sophia by his side, motivating him, and Catherine cheering him on at home, Gabriel's progress was nothing short of remarkable. Slowly but surely, the wheelchair that had once defined his daily life became less and less necessary. His legs grew stronger, and his ability to walk unaided improved with every session. The physiotherapy sessions, once grueling and daunting, became a source of joy and motivation. Gabriel could now see a clear path to recovery, and with each milestone, his determination grew. Then, one bright and sunny Saturday, Gabriel decided to fulfill a long-held dream. With Sophia and Catherine's help, he returned to the soccer field where he had played as a boy. The field, filled with the laughter and shouts of other players, brought back a flood of memories. For years, Gabriel had imagined what it would be like to step onto the grass again, and now he finally could. Wearing a sports shirt and standing on unsteady legs, Gabriel held a soccer ball in his hands. With a look of determination, he kicked the ball, sending it rolling across the field. He then took a deep breath and, with Sophia and Catherine watching in awe, began to walk, slowly at first, but with growing confidence. He nearly broke into a run as his feet found their rhythm. The feeling of freedom and joy that washed over him was indescribable. Catherine and Sophia cheered from the sidelines, their eyes filled with tears of pride and happiness. For Gabriel, it was a moment he had dreamed of for years, a symbol of how far he had come. As Gabriel's recovery progressed, life at home was filled with joy and celebration. Each achievement, no matter how small, was met with enthusiasm. Catherine would often prepare special dinners to mark Gabriel's milestones, and the house rang with laughter and love. Sophia's presence in their lives became even more integral as she not only continued to support Gabriel's recovery, but also became a cherished part of the family. Gabriel's love for Sophia grew deeper with every passing day, and he knew that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. One evening, during one of these celebratory family dinners, Gabriel decided it was time to take another significant step in his life. As they finished the meal and gathered in the living room, Gabriel stood up from his seat. Though his movements were still slow, there was a determination in his eyes that made Sophia and Catherine watch in silence. With a loving smile, Gabriel reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. He looked at Sophia, who was sitting across from him, and knelt down on one knee, his heart pounding. "Sophia," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "you have transformed my life in a way I never imagined. You've given me hope when I had none, and you've been my strength when I needed it most. I can't picture my life without you. I want to spend the rest of my life by your side. Will you marry me?" Sophia gasped, her hands flying to her mouth as tears streamed down her face. The joy and love in her eyes were unmistakable. "Yes, Gabriel," she whispered through her tears, "of course I will marry you." Catherine, overcome with emotion, clapped her hands together and cried tears of happiness. Her son, who had faced so many challenges, had not only found love but had also found the courage to propose to the woman who had been his anchor. As they embraced, the future seemed brighter than ever. Gabriel's journey of recovery was far from over, but with Sophia's love and Catherine's unwavering support, he knew that together they could face anything that came their way. It was the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. Gabriel's life had undergone a complete transformation, and he was ready to take the next step toward a future filled with love and happiness. One evening, after a family dinner, Gabriel gathered the courage to propose to Sophia. With tears of emotion in her eyes, she answered without hesitation, "Yes, Gabriel, I accept." Catherine clapped joyfully, tears streaming down her face. For her, seeing her son not only recover his health, but also find true love was a blessing beyond anything she had imagined. In the midst of laughter, tears, and overwhelming happiness, Gabriel and Sophia celebrated their engagement, ready to build a life together. Gabriel had now fully recovered, walking with ease and even fulfilling his dream of getting a driver's license. The months following the engagement were filled with excitement as Gabriel and Sophia, with Catherine's loving support, began planning their wedding. They decided on a simple yet meaningful ceremony to celebrate both their love and the incredible journey they had shared. Sophia chose a simple, elegant dress that reflected her gentle spirit, while Gabriel, proud of his progress, wore a classic suit, symbolizing his triumph over the challenges he had faced. Catherine busied herself with the final details, decorating the chapel and preparing their home for the reception. The day of the wedding arrived, bringing a blend of nerves and excitement. Friends and family gathered in a flower-filled garden to witness Gabriel and Sophia's union. As Sophia walked down the aisle, sunlight filtering through the trees, Gabriel felt a wave of emotion, whispering, "You look beautiful," as she reached him at the altar. The officiant spoke about love, strength, and resilience, beautifully capturing the couple's journey. When Gabriel and Sophia exchanged vows, their words were filled with sincerity and devotion. "I promise to stand by you through joy and challenges, with love and respect," Gabriel vowed. Sophia replied, "I promise to love, support, and respect you, growing with you every day." After the ceremony, a lively reception followed in Catherine's backyard, filled with twinkling lights, flowers, and heartfelt toasts. Friends and family celebrated the couple's love and shared in the joy of the day. The first months of marriage were filled with adjustments and discoveries as Gabriel and Sophia settled into life as a couple. They balanced their work routines with moments of togetherness, cherishing the simple joys of married life, cooking together, walking in the neighborhood, and dreaming about their future. Gabriel continued his strengthening exercises, while Sophia remained dedicated to her work at the clinic. Meanwhile, Catherine, now with a quieter house, felt a deep sense of peace. Seeing her son happy and healthy with Sophia by his side was all she had ever wished for, and she knew their family was complete, ready to face any future challenge united by love and resilience. As the months flew by, Gabriel and Sophia's bond grew even stronger. Their newlywed life settled into a comfortable rhythm, filled with love, laughter, and shared goals. One bright morning, while they were having breakfast, Gabriel noticed something different in Sophia's expression, a sparkle in her eyes. "Are you okay, love? You seem like you have something to tell me," Gabriel asked with curiosity. Sophia smiled and gently took his hand. "I have incredible news, Gabriel. I'm pregnant." For a moment, Gabriel was speechless, his heart racing as he processed the news. His eyes filled with tears of joy. "We're having a baby?" he asked, his voice shaking with emotion. "Yes, we are," Sophia confirmed with a broad smile. The news of the baby brought immense happiness to the family. Catherine was overjoyed to learn she would soon be a grandmother, her heart full of love and excitement. "I'm so happy for you both, and for me too. Having a grandchild is such a wonderful gift," she said, her voice filled with emotion. The following months were filled with preparations for the baby's arrival. Gabriel and Sophia decorated the nursery with great care, choosing every detail with love, while each ultrasound brought more excitement and joy. The growing anticipation of their little one's arrival filled the household with warmth and happiness as Gabriel, Sophia, and Catherine eagerly awaited the newest addition to their family. Gabriel and Sophia's lives were filled with excitement and anticipation as they prepared for the arrival of their baby. They chose the name Noah in honor of the doctor who had played such a significant role in Gabriel's recovery. One quiet early morning, Sophia's contractions began, and Gabriel, both prepared and nervous, rushed her to the hospital. Catherine, her heart full of emotion, anxiously waited at home, praying for a smooth delivery. After hours of waiting, Gabriel called with the joyful news, his voice thick with emotion. "Mom, he's here. Noah has arrived, and he's perfect." Tears of joy streamed down Catherine's face as she quickly grabbed her things and hurried to the hospital. When she arrived, she was led to Sophia's room, where Sophia was resting with baby Noah in her arms, Gabriel at her side, gazing at their son with love and pride. Catherine approached, her voice trembling as she said, "He's beautiful. Welcome, Noah." The first months with baby Noah were intense but filled with wonder. Sleepless nights and endless diaper changes were balanced by the pure joy of his smiles and the little moments of happiness he brought to their lives. The house was filled with life as the family settled into their new routine. Catherine, an eager and dedicated grandmother, helped as much as she could, treasuring every new milestone, Noah's first smile, his first sounds, and all the small but precious moments of his early life. Gabriel and Sophia, in turn, found a deeper purpose and a newfound joy in parenthood, which only strengthened the bond they already shared. As the months passed, it became clear that their cozy home was getting too small for the growing family. Noah's energy filled every corner of the house, and it was time to find a new space that better suited their needs. After weeks of searching, they found the perfect house, a spacious home with a large garden where Noah could play freely and where they could create new family memories. The move was an exciting time, with everyone pitching in to make the new house feel like a warm and loving home. With the move came the opportunity for Gabriel and Sophia to plan for their future with even greater care and affection. They dreamed of providing Noah with a childhood full of enriching experiences and opportunities. Conversations about his education, travel, and extracurricular activities became frequent as they wanted to give him every chance to grow into a kind and curious person. Gabriel, having overcome so many obstacles in his life, now felt more prepared than ever to be the father he had always dreamed of being. Catherine, who had been such an integral part of Gabriel's recovery in life, moved into the new house with them, further entwining herself in their daily lives. Gabriel and Sophia made sure she had her own room, lovingly decorated to make her feel at home and valued. Catherine became even more involved as a grandmother, always ready with a story, a game, or a comforting word. She was the loving and ever-present figure in Noah's life, just as she had been for Gabriel. As time passed, Gabriel and Sophia made sure Catherine was taken care of, showering her with love and gratitude. After all the years she had dedicated to caring for Gabriel, it was now their turn to take care of her. Gabriel frequently reminded her of how much she meant to the entire family, often telling her, "Mom, now it's our turn to take care of you." Weekends became special family moments, with gatherings in the garden for picnics, games, and long conversations. Noah would run joyfully across the lawn, while Gabriel and Sophia planned their future, and Catherine watched, her heart swelling with pride and happiness. Together, the family dreamed of traveling with Noah, showing him the world, and teaching him the values they held dear. Catherine, who had always been a pillar of strength and resilience, now saw the legacy of her love and dedication blossoming in her grandson's life. As the years flew by, Gabriel and Sophia's home remained a place filled with love, laughter, and growth. Noah grew up, embodying the values his parents and grandmother had instilled in him with such care. In that environment of love, support, and unity, Gabriel and Sophia reflected on all the struggles and victories they had shared. Catherine, now older but filled with contentment, watched her family with pride. She was grateful for every moment, every challenge they had overcome together. The love and strength she had given them now shone brightly in the family she had helped build, and she found peace in knowing her legacy of love would continue through Noah and the generations to come.